Hey, thanks for having me. This is awesome. It's great to be out here. I've never been here before, so I'm excited for this experience and to just share a little bit about what I do and my art. And hopefully, we get lots of good hard questions, and we'll go from there. Uh, like I said, I'm just here flowing as we're going to talk through things. Um, like you said, I kind of came into ceramics later on in my career as an artist, just kind of by happenstance. I was a graphic design major, and took that pottery class as an elective, and just fell in love with it once I got to teach. And then fast forward to it's time to get my degree to continue my military career, and I wanted to see if I could do it in art and in particular ceramics. And got into Fort Hays State. They have an amazing program, a virtual ceramic MFA program, which helped me out because I moved every 1 to 2 years being in the military. So I was able to do that between 2015 to 2021 and got my master's in ceramics. So pretty awesome. And I have my buddy Randy here. He'll help ask a couple of the first questions, and then we'll just keep going from there.
Is that my cue?
That's your cue, my friend.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for being here, Del. It's really been a fun time talking with you. I feel like you just part of the reason why I feel like I'm here is just because we can't stop talking and about pottery and arts and our process. It's just been really fascinating. So glad you're with us. So when I'm looking at your work, I'm definitely seeing it feels like pop art, popular culture kind of stuff. Can you talk a little bit more about like your influences, or are you connected with that movement? Do you feel strongly about that movement at all? Like, if you don't even like pop art, I don't know.
No, actually, so my background, I was a painter, actually, for years. Like starting in high school, got a painting assignment, and started doing a lot of those. And you always just search out artists and see who you like. And I really gravitated towards artists like Jackson Pollock, Salvador Dali, Georgia O'Keeffe, and then I ran into Roy Lichtenstein, and it was like, woo, everything just lit up. And I was like, I was a comic book fan growing up. And then, Andy Warhol and the stuff that he was doing. And I was like, I just kind of got drawn to it. And then with the graphic design kind of coming up with the, Adobe Suite becoming big and Photoshop and all those things, I really got into graphic design pretty heavy. And that, going through those courses, it kind of trains you to kind of look at what other like advertisements and posters and things like that going on throughout the world. So you're constantly looking at those things still and admiring what other artists do, how they do it, what's their inspiration. It just seems like I can't even walk in a grocery store without checking out the designs of packaging and things like that. And so you see that a lot in my work. And a lot of it, I think it just comes from the graphic design background of being a fan of marketing and advertisements and comic books. It's kind of all wrapped up in one. And combining that with the ceramic work, that's where I kind of find a lot of my joy. So a lot of it is just trying to, like, I find a cool design that I like, and then I flip it in a funny way and change the graphics up, like the Cheeto design, but I made it say Neato stuff instead of Cheetos, and Sipples instead of Skittles, because it's all in the spirit of fun and making people laugh and just giving them that escape when they get one of my pieces and drink out of it. And just every time, I just want you to have that feeling every time, that it's just a little smile on your face, a little escape from the day, and just have fun. So, like I say, a lot of it is just my fan of that style of work. And then now I'm able to put that on my ceramics, and then I can do it throughout the entire piece, whether it be, we'll talk about it later, but the packaging and all this stuff, like a lot of people see me do. But yeah, I definitely understand, that the huge pop art influence on the work that I do. And I'm constantly looking, like even now that I'm, first time in the state, we're looking at everything as we're driving around and getting ideas, taking mental photos, and so it's exciting times. So I definitely know after this trip there'll be a new line of work based off of the things that I've seen up here. So.
Cool. Well, I'll answer my questions from that. First, I'm gonna have to come back to the light religion scene.
Right.
But and how do you see, or how do you want, excuse me, your viewers or to interact with it? Do you want like that? Do you want to continue that kind of everyday consumption, or do you want them to be playful enough where it takes you into a different space of like sitting with them for a while, or how do you do that?
I really want my work to be used. Like it took me a long time to realize the fact that I can't control what somebody does once they have my piece, but I really do want you to use it, and I'm serious when I tell people that's to me is when the art begins, because the recipient of the piece then is you're using it, you're attaching memories to it, whether you realize it or not. It could just be just something sitting on your back porch in the morning, drinking some coffee, looking at a beautiful sunrise, and you're using a piece that I made, and subliminally that attaches to that piece, or you happen to drop it, but it doesn't break, and you get, it has a little scratch and a ding, but that's a part of the use. I'm into like vintage things as well, beat up signs, and a lot of like oil and gas, like advertisements from back in the days. You can see in some of my pieces. So yeah, I'm all about you using it. I'm all about it getting scratched and dinged and chipped, because that means you're actually embodying your soul in my mind, into that piece, and your addition to that piece makes the art. And that's why I like ceramics so much. And like this to me, especially making functional ware, it's the most intimate form of art I think there is. That you can make something with your hands and then use it repeatedly, for several lifetimes, even if, depending on how you take care of it. But the fact that you can make art and use the art, it's pretty special to me. So yeah, I like for people to use it. I don't get too bent out of shape if people don't, not anymore anyway. Because I understand, once you get the piece, it's yours to do what you want. But in a perfect world, like every last one of my pieces are being used, at least on a weekly basis. And then if it gets dinged up or broken, reach out to me. I might just send you another one. Keep the party going.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, you definitely have a playful spirit, and I see that joy in your work, and I also see it just in you just having a conversation. I don't think you've stopped smiling since you've been here. That's really cool, and I feel like that so much of art is emotional and darker, deep, and I think maybe playfulness and happiness is sometimes more challenging thing to pull off successfully and have it feel authentic and real and moving. And I don't know. Do you feel like happiness or is a legitimate? I don't know what I'm trying to go with here, but I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, is it like a legitimate muse, I guess?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I think for me, yes. I think we all know we see a lot of bad. It's not hard to see bad in the world right now. Social media, news, everywhere. It's very easy to see the bad in things that are happening. And I think you're absolutely right. The challenge now has become to show the good. How do you highlight the good? So yeah, my work is 100% geared at making you feel special, feel good, put a smile on your face, a little laugh. That's 100% what my work is all about. Everything I've made is about that, whether it be the form or the graphics. That is the ultimate goal, is to give you that pause you know, and whether that's kind of your life or not, but just kind of give you that pause and just take a moment to smile and reflect on something good, and not necessarily my work, but hopefully it triggers you somewhere else happy, triggers a memory that you had, you know, like, like, Skittles is my favorite candy.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't even say Skittles, it says Skittles, but you think of Skittles and you remember growing up eating Skittles, sharing with your brother, your sister, your friends. And that's what my pieces are about. And I aim to do that from the moment you receive it to every single time you use it.
Yeah, memories play a powerful part of our experience and how we view the world and interact with it. Like I said, Skittles might be like a movie memory of your first date or something. Like, that's really cool. What's also really, if you've never experienced Del's work, and put it in your hand, you'll swear it's like screen printed or like laser jet. Exact. It's just like so crisp and clean, and like you think the whole thing was just like slip casted or just made by a machine. But your process is really fascinating. I don't know if we're gonna talk about that on Sunday, but
No.
share a little bit of that. It's really valuable.
And so, and that's also something that's intentional. I like to try to duplicate, mass produce products as much as I can, get as close as I can to it, but with that little human element, human twist in there. That kind of shocks people. Like, oh, wait a minute, this was handmade. Like there's no way this was handmade. It's like, yeah, it actually was handmade.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like, no, somebody might look at it and think they can go to the local store or something and pick it up, but actually, no. It's like there's only been a couple of these ever made, and again, it comes from that graphic design background, but it was my answer to how do I bridge that gap in my mind between fine art, graphic arts, graphic design, and still bring that human touch to it, and so when I do my work, that's me trying to bridge all those gaps. Because I am a fan, like I said, I'm a pop artist. I'm a fan of pop art. I'm also a fan of the regular fine arts and the human touch and everything. Because I think that's what makes it even more beautiful. So yeah, 100% intentional. And so when I started to do the graphics pretty heavy on my work, that was the goal. Was how can I do the graphics to make it look like it was screen printed or sticker? And so just a lot of research, a lot of trial and error in the studio. Because that's what it's all about, right? Like you said, like we talked about earlier, solving the problem. How do you solve the problem? Well, the problem was, okay, I want to glaze, but as we know, commercial products, everything is really sharp, it's really refined. A lot of the pottery is not. When you see graphics on it. So I then went back and combined painting techniques that I used for like 15, 20 years and figured out a way to transfer those painting techniques to work on ceramic glazing and bring it into airbrush. It's really the key is the airbrush. That's the key. Stenciling and airbrush to use those different techniques to slowly build up the glaze, the underglaze on the pieces. And it's a slow process, but it's rewarding in the end. But that's how you get that smooth decal sticker-like finish. So it was really just a lot of work in the studio to try to crack that code.
I almost have to believe it to see it. I mean, I still can't even wrap my head around that brush.
Yeah.
I have a little experience with the brush, but I know that it's not crisp clean lines is really hard, and to make the amount of detail you put in it too. It's definitely a vision.
Del, I just wanted to add that happiness and joy that you're talking about, and also the human touch, is so very apparent in your work, both from the clever jokes that you make with it, and also the lovely little touches like folks, if you go in the gallery and see, some of them come with like little keychains that he's made, or like packaging that you can color in. Like they're just all of these beautiful, human, joyful touches. And everything you're saying is really resonates with how I viewed your work when I saw it the first time too. So
Thank
not
you.
a question, just a comment.
Awesome. I mean, but that's the goal. It's the how can I make you feel like you've won a prize, like you're special, and put that smile on your face throughout. And like you said, all the things that I make that come with it. It's really me combining the woodworking, the painting, the glass etching, laser etching, everything I've done, my entire art career, all into that one piece. And it's all for whoever ends up with that piece at the end. And it's, and that's the goal. Any piece I make, I'm thinking of the future recipient that's going to possibly have that. And how can I maximize that positive experience for them? And how long can I repeat that experience as they continue to use the piece? So.
That's really super thoughtful to be like, while you're making it, being like, I'm really thinking about my end user individually for each piece, and really taking the ego and out of the equation and really just making it for other people. And it's not about you, it's about bringing happiness to other people in the world. And yeah, again, there it is, show up. What else did I ask you?
Del, I feel like I have a thought about what your answer is, and I don't know if it's going to align because
Okay.
it's like your signature is like happiness, right? Because signing and some of that can be, depending upon who the maker is an important part of the process. But with yours, you've got like a brand, right? Almost in the way you do it. Is there anything that you consider specifically your signature?
So actually, all of my pieces are signed. Well, not signed, but I have a stamp that I try to put on every single thing I make outside of the logo.
Uh-huh.
But it is 100% my brand. That is intentional. But I do actually sign I stamp all the pieces with the symbol. It's my initials. And I've done that since I was 11 years old. So, with painting, I used to, draw that on every painting I did, every drawing I did. And then as I started getting really good at ceramics, I was like, I'm gonna still put that piece, that symbol on every single ceramic piece I make to tie it back to, the artist that I've been my entire life, whether ceramic or not. So that ties each ceramic mug or vase or bowl that I make to every other art form that I do.
Yeah.
And then the symbol, the smiley face, it was funny. It was just a transition. I didn't mean it was meant to be for one series. And the funny thing that you bring it up, everybody's like, hey, you got the smiley face, and he's winking. And it's not winking. It is a smiley face, but it's not winking. It is, when I came up with the symbol, I was going through a pretty rough time. And just dealing with a lot, but I still, kept a smile on my face every day. I still went to work every day because, I'm just not the type of person to bring what I'm going through to other people. And I still wanted to make sure I wasn't a downer in the office or around my family, whenever they were around me. And so that symbol was kind of like when you're kind of beat down and your eyes kind of close, like you see the end of like a Rocky movie or something. But yet he still smiles, he still perseveres in the end. That's what my logo is all about. It's like no matter what I was going through, I was still smiling, still coming in every day, and I still persevered through that situation. And so that symbol actually reminds me of that time, and and just reflect on you made it through that time. And then, that symbol can help other people get through their difficult time. And I think that's why I started, I adopted it as my brand. Because I really thought, being a graphic designer and everything, I thought it was important to, brand myself as a ceramic artist. and as I go forward, and then the symbol just was perfect for it because it encapsulates what I want my pieces to do. And at the end, it's, bring that smile on your face, and if you're going through a rough time, help you get through that rough time. So thanks for bringing that up. It was a good one.
Absolutely. Well, and I love that it's a thing that people maybe misinterpret all the time. That's always, I don't know, interesting. Like it's an interesting addition to the story. I love it. And also now I understand very deeply the need of, caffeinating or finding the thing that'll make yourself keep smiling through it. And so I love that is what that image means for you.
Yeah.
As artists, we wear multiple hats. Not just making, but we gotta, move into selling it. And as you're doing packaging it, do you want to talk about social media?
Yeah. So a lot of the success I've enjoyed the last year or so has been through social media. A lot of relationships I've grabbed, so it's not all bad, And I think one of the main things I did to get Goode Art, which is my my brand on Instagram, how it got to this point was just reaching out to other artists, commenting on their posts, being genuine about their comments, letting them know, like, hey, I see what you're doing, I like it, it's awesome, and just instead of just scrolling through, it's like, you know what, that image actually made me smile. Let me scroll back down and give them a like, because I did like it, instead of just keep going. And just through that, artists started, reaching back. They started, following me back. And, if I had issues, I could lean on them and just, hey, I'm trying this out. It's not working. Oh, well, should you try this, try that? And social media did that, and then, for those that do follow me, we're me and John R. Hamilton III Ceramics, John Hamilton, we're starting a group, Two Fly Brothers, and that's growing right now.
Yeah.
And all that's from just social media. We met through just talking to each other, and now we've done workshops together. We visited stuff, like he completely, changed or upgraded my studio practice as far as production. And so I love social media for the aspect of it allowing me to collaborate in ways I've never collaborated before. And I totally wouldn't be where I'm at right now, with it not for that. And even up hanging out with Randy, it's like, as soon as I knew when we were hanging out, it was like I went online, like, hey, let me see who he is, what he does, and I'm like, this guy's a phenomenal artist. Like, I'm gonna get to go hang out in the studio as we're doing right now and learn some of his practices and share some of mine and continue to grow. So, I definitely say take advantage of that positive of social media and just don't be afraid to reach out to artists, interact, ask them questions. There's more times than not will be a positive response back. So,
yeah. One of our many hours of talking about, we talked about just how ceramics is such a good community. Like, you can't find this in the painting world or the printmaking world, or there isn't like a real solid group that likes to come together as often as potters do. Yeah. I wonder if that's because of the nature of the work and how physical and demanding it is, or if it's because of the kiln and together around it, or maybe it's because of food and the festivities and the I don't know, survival instinct that's we need to eat and what made these things.
But yeah, like I said, the key is the community and collaboration. I can't encourage collaboration enough with other artists, like, and I found, a lot of times most people, I know we're afraid to share because we think somebody's going to steal our technique and go off and be successful. But I find that most people won't do that. They just appreciate your technique, your kindness and sharing, and they share back. And if anything, you just kind of take, little tidbits from their practice, your practice, and you don't full bore go their style, but something that they're doing will help your practice and then you go forward. Like like I said, I've already seen things, and I've been here less than 24 hours, and I've already seen things I'm going to take back to my studio, and it's going to make me a better potter going forward. So can't stress that enough. Don't be afraid to collaborate. Don't be afraid to share. You will continue to grow. You'll probably grow faster than you ever would. Just kind of keeping to yourself and in your own studio.
Well, folks, that is our time for our artist talks tonight. Thank you so much, Del and Darcy and Randy. I was just joking about Randy being Del's assistant. Randy's actually Del's host for the weekend and a local ceramics teacher. But it was so lovely hearing you two have conversation, and I think one of the most beautiful parts of APF is these relationships that people make with each other over this short weekend and how they build over time. And I love that you two have connected so closely so quickly. That's so wonderful.